Yard drive by Pitt. Obviously helped by the roughing the kicker penalty, but that really has to hurt Florida State.
They get the big break from the turnover. They get all the way down to Pitt's 1 foot line, almost to the 1 foot line. They weren't able to get to the 1 foot line, and that's why Pitt gets the ball back. Now Pitt drives on them and scores. You got to give Dan Marino a lot of credit on that play because he was in trouble, ran out, and just was quick enough to see his receiver open, and a great run by DeBartolo.
Here's the extra point try, and it is good. And Snuffy Everett, 15 out of 16 now on extra points, gives Pitt a 7-0 lead with 27 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Countdown to cure.
2-yard touchdown pass, Marino's 14th of the year, and that's in 3+ games. Schubert approaches, gets off another boomer. Allen 8 yards deep, he'll stay there. And once again, Florida State will start at their own 20-yard line. Marino with his 14th touchdown pass of the year, and again, although this is the Panthers' 5th game of the year, he has only played in 3 previously, and this one today. He did not play last week at all against West Virginia.
And he got off to a slow start against Illinois. First game of the season, he had a bad first half, and he came back and had a real good second half. And today, in the press kit that we get for every game, there was a nice little brochure on Dan Marino, and they're pushing him for All-American and Heisman.
First down and 10. Florida State at their own 20. Give inside to Whiting. He's going nowhere. Again, that quick hitter to the left side, smelled out by the Pitt defense. No go there. Second down and 10 yards to go.
Of course, it's much tougher now for Florida State because it's tough enough playing against a defense like Pitt's, but when you're playing against them and you're behind, and now you got to do some things maybe that you don't want to do.
Sal Sunseri for Pitt in on that tackle, and once again, Florida State comes to the line, but they will have to wait till the second quarter. Time has run out in the first 15 minutes of play, and the score at the end of the first quarter: the Pitt Panthers 7, the Florida State Seminoles nothing.
And Pitt has the lead 7-0. We're getting ready to start the second quarter, and this is a big series for Florida State. They are on their own 20, and they got 2nd and 10, so they want to get it out of there. If Pitt gets the ball back and scores again, you're going to be in real big trouble if you're down more than 7 to this Pitt defense, Dan.
Second down and 10 yards to go. Stockstill to throw. Fires in the flat, incomplete. Pass intended for Ricky Williams, well overthrown. Rich Cranack, the linebacker, who has a couple interceptions this year, made the coverage on the play. It'll be third down and 10. And things holding pretty much true to form. Florida State only been able to rush for 25 yards, 39 passing, 64 total. And of course, Pitt, with that 99-yard drive, leads them, almost doubling them in total yardage game thus far. Third down and 10 yards to go. And Stockstill does not like to throw deep. He likes to pick at you, but he's got 10 yards to go here. Man in motion to the right is tight end Mowat. Stockstill with time, fires. It is intercepted by Pitt. 15. Sunseri to the 5, in for the touchdown. Sal Sunseri, Pitt linebacker, intercepts the pass, runs it all the way back for the touchdown, and Pitt begins to take command.
They call Sal Sunseri the defensive leader on this team. Actually, he's the leader on this team. If there is one guy that you can pick out, he's a senior linebacker. He played on the #1 defense last year, and he came into this season saying he wanted to prove that this defense, made up of a lot of nobodies, as he called them, could also play a little defense. And that is a great play, and he read it perfectly and was right there. It was not a well-thrown ball either by Stockstill, obviously.
Pass was intended for tailback Ricky Williams. Williams was again circling in out of the backfield, but Stockstill either never saw Sunseri or just threw the ball away.
And that is really going to hurt Florida State. It gets Pitt fired up for one thing, and it's got to make Florida State wonder what they got to do to move the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball with any consistency, and now their #1 game is the short pass. They haven't been able to do that either.
Florida State is not a quick striking team. They can take it 75, 80 yards on you. They like their punter to get field position so they don't have to drive that far. Now being 14-0, perhaps Florida State will have to elongate those pass patterns just a bit. They are already 14 points down against the #1 ranked defense in the country. This is not the hole that Bobby Bowden wanted to get himself in.
And when you think about how this game has turned since about the middle of the first quarter, when Florida State was on the 1-foot line or close to it and didn't score.
Now watch for number 44, Williams. There he comes in out, but Sinceri just comes in. He was playing his zone, just waiting for that pass to come over the middle, and nobody came near him. Stockstill had a shot there, but not before Sinceri got it into the end zone. There he is, Sal Sinceri, a senior out of Pittsburgh, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, and the defensive leader. Ever with a kick, it is good. And so Pitt, early in the second quarter, has taken now a 14-0 lead. 14:46 to play in the first half. And the score now, Pitt 14, Florida State nothing. Schubert to kick off once again for Pitt. Let's see if the other end of the field prevents him from kicking in the end zone. He has kicked it twice deep into the end zone. No opportunity for a run back by Greg Allen, who's averaging 16 yards per return. The Pitt defense, rated tops in the country last year statistically, lost 9 seniors last year. Only 2 seniors playing this year. The other 9 are underclassmen. They are once again ranked number 1. Schubert's kick not quite as deep, only 5 yards deep, and Allen's going to come out of there after some hesitation. Tries to get the outside, and he does. Out to the 20, hit out of bounds near the 30-yard line, called the 29, and Florida State will take over at their own 29-yard line. Mistakes are always critical in football game. Pitt has made a couple, but it has not cost them any points. Florida State has made 2, an interception and a roughing the kicking penalty. It has cost them 2 touchdowns. Coming into the game, Pitt was +3 in turnovers, Florida State -1, so both doing a pretty good job. They'll mark it at the 27-yard line. Florida State with a football. Pitch to Williams. Hit at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a yard out to the 28-yard line. Williams now with 12 yards rushing. His running mate, Mike Whiting, with a total of 13.
Well, Pitt again stopping the quick pitch that time. The quick pitch was working a little bit earlier for Florida State, and it hasn't the last few times they've tried it. And now it's 2nd and long again.
Surprising Florida State has gotten away from those quick hitters, which were so effective early in the first quarter. Receiver split either side, pro set backfield, 2nd down and 9. There's a Statue of Liberty to Whiting, got some room to the 30, keeps on his feet, gets out to the 32-yard line and close to the 33. On a gain of 5 yards, they'll bring up 3rd down and 4. There's a bit of deception here.
Ground level. Looks like a rollout pass, and he just kind of dumps it off here to Whiting. Whiting's their power back. He picks up a couple of yards, but J.C. Pelusi comes up to make a play.
3rd down, long, 4 yards to go. J.C. Pelusi comes out of the football game. Pitt has been going to nickelback situations, dropping the middle guard and adding a nickelback.
Everybody in the stadium's looking for a pass now.
3rd down, long 4, high backfield. Slight roll. Stockstill over the middle of the pass was tipped into the backfield. Good rush once again by Chris Dolman, who's playing a whale of a football game. The freshman defensive end tipped the ball. Stockstill's pass never had an opportunity, and Florida State will be forced to punt once again.
It's just unbelievable what these 2 guys have been able to do, and somebody who's got to be given a lot of credit here is Foge Fazio, because he's the defensive coordinator. Inside Sports Magazine picked him as the one of the top 5 defensive coordinators in the country. He loses 9 people like that, you don't even know they're gone. They look better this year, if that's possible, defensively than they did last year.
Here's Stark to punt. He gets off a high kick down to Flynn at the 16-yard line. Returns to the right, looks for the wall. Not much of one there. Gets it across the 25 and out to the 26-yard line. Lower Pitt will take over, 1st down and 10. Rodriguez came in to make the tackle for the Seminoles. In case you're joining us late, Pitt leads the football game 14-0. A big football game. There are scouts from the Orange, Sugar, Cotton, Fiesta, and Tangerine Bowls watching this game this afternoon.
Now remember, Pitt's schedule is very much easier from here on in after this game up until November 28th when they play Penn State.
DiBartola got a hole across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. Kind of a delayed draw like Florida State uses. He takes it up for a 6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Eric Riley, free safety, came up to make the tackle for Florida State.
And now with the 14-0 lead, Pitt can fool around a little bit. They don't have all the pressure on them. They can try what they want to try. They get a big hole there for DiBartola and a nice pickup.
He is the leading rusher, fifth-year senior. Feta and Boris clearing the hole in the offensive line. Delay to Thomas. Not this time. Hit at the line of scrimmage and drop for perhaps a loss of a yard. Make that Joe McCall now in a tailback, number 34. No gain. Make it third down, 4 yards to go for the first.
Joe McCall was the starting tailback when the season started and was the guy that Jackie Sherrill talked about from before summer camp, that he was looking forward to having him as a starting tailback this year, looking for a lot of good things from him, but he just hasn't done any of the things that Jackie Sherrill was hoping he would do, and that's why Brian Thomas seems like he's beating him out.
Marino play fake. Got a rush on, fires over the flat, caught by McCall at the 30 and down to the 31-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down for Pitt. Tommy Young, inside linebacker, made the stop, but not before they pick up 8 yards and a first down.
Similar to the touchdown where Marino had too much time back there. He doesn't see anybody open. Obviously, the secondary is doing a good job of coverage, but if you let him stay back there that long, he's eventually going to find somebody. He finds Joe McCall there and gets himself a first down.
The Florida State linebackers take very deep drops, opening that stuff up, and now we've got movement on the offensive line. Left tackle Jimbo Cover, number 75. You saw him raise up. That'll cost Pitt 5 back to the 26-yard line to make it first down and 15.
At the risk of overdoing referring to last year's game with Florida State, but it was a game that cost Pitt the national championship, and that's why they have a little bit of revenge on their minds here. Last year, the game was played down in Tallahassee, and Pitt had a lot of trouble with that right there because of the hostile crowd. He doesn't have that problem today, obviously, but he's still having a problem with the offensive line moving a couple of times.
Draw play. Give inside of the tailback, and he gets a couple. Wayne DiBartola, the fullback, with a 3-yard gain. Second down and 12. Pitt's gone to a bit of that delay type thing. Dan Marino, by the way, with his completions this afternoon, now has more pass completions than any quarterback in Pitt history. He just passed that up with a completion to Joe McCall, and he is only a junior. Leading pass completer, if that's the right term, of all time at the University of Pittsburgh. Second and 12. Floats one out to John Brown, almost intercepted. Pass intended for tight end John Brown, floated it out there. Harvey Clayton, who already has an interception here this afternoon, could not quite get to it. Incomplete, third down and 12.
I don't think there's anybody who even questions whether or not Danny Marino is questions whether he is the best quarterback in the history of this school. He is. There's no doubt. He's the best that's ever played here.
Third down and 12. Pitt at their own 27-yard line. 10:33 to play. First half. Pitt leads 14-0. Blitz on from the linebackers. He's firing the bomb deep for Collins. He's open. Overthrown at the Florida State 34-yard line. He had Harvey Clayton beaten. Collins wide open on the play. Pass just a bit too tall. That'll bring up fourth down. And again, Dave Hepler comes on to punt for Pitt. The last time he went on to punt, he was roughed in the end zone after getting off a short punt, but the roughing the kicker gave Pitt new life, and they went on to march 99 yards. Cedric Jones back deep for Florida State, averaging just 2.9, and again, Florida State now drops a man off. They got 9 men on the line of scrimmage. Kick is a beauty. Hepler driving Jones back to the 24-yard line. Looks for a break, doesn't find one, hit and drop at the 28-yard line. Great punt by Dave Hepler. And good coverage by the Pitt Panthers. Lowry in to make the tackle. Jones tried to make that move. So, 10:16 to play in the first half. The score, Pitt 14, the Seminoles nothing. Stockstill is 4 out of 9 thus far, and he has had the interception, which gave Pitt a touchdown. Now they try to move the football. Stockstill again, play fake, takes a very deep drop, fires over the middle, and it is almost intercepted once again by Sal Sinceri. Again, Stockstill had a man open on the play, John, but he did not rifle it. He had his man open on a hook pattern, but Sinceri had an opportunity to react.
Sinceri, before the game started, we didn't see it on camera, but as the Pitt team came out of the runway, he was running around waving a towel and jumping up and down and just going out of his mind and looking at the Pitt cheering section and getting the fans pumped up. He was obviously pumped up for this game. He's playing a great game so far.
2nd down 10. Florida State just inside their own 28-yard line. They trail 14-0. Pitt shows blitz. Quick handoff inside. There are flags all over the place. And I believe Pitt may have lined up offside. There is no gain on the play. It would be 3rd down and 10. Let's wait for the official's call.
Yeah. Offside Pitt.
Sunseri and Kranak both showing blitz, stepping up. And they just lined up offside, did not get back. So that saves Florida State a down, makes it 2nd down and 5. And it would seem to me, John, that almost every pass that Stockstill throws has been play action. After a while, the linebackers just totally disregard that and go deep drop, which is what happened on the 1st down pass.
So what might work here on a little bit as we go on here might be draws and screens. Pass to the backs coming out.
Which were highly successful in the 1st quarter for Florida State when they moved the football.
You know, Pitt last week played against West Virginia, and they have one of the best scrambling quarterbacks in the country, I think, in Oliver Luck. And they did a good job against him, and they got a lot of experience coming in here to face another guy similar to him.
Man in motion, 2nd down and 5. Here's the gift to Williams. He's got a hole, gets out to the 35-yard line. Here's the 36. He'll be a couple yards shy of the 1st down. He'll make a 3rd down and 2. Pappy Thomas, left cornerback, held his ground, shed a blocker, and made the tackle. So that makes it 3rd down and 2. Florida State at their own 36-yard line.
Nice run by Ricky Williams. He's got some good moves. He got outside, but a good open field tackle there by Thomas, because if he gets outside Thomas there, I don't think there was anybody behind him. Good open field tackle.
20 yards thus far for Williams. Remember, he had 135 last week against Notre Dame. 3rd down and 5, or rather 3rd down and 2, Florida State. Back to throw. Fires over the middle. Caught up at the 45-yard line. And now they rule it incomplete. The pass was thrown to Phil Williams, and they rule it was incomplete. Williams, a senior, not very big, 5'10", 170 pounds. Their leading receiver did not hang on to the football.
Tom Flynn did a good job, gave him a good stick, and that's what did it. He did have him open, but Flynn made up for letting his receiver get open there, but that's his job. He's the free safety. He reacts to the ball, and he did a good job of it there.
That saved Pitt a very important possession. Would have been a big 1st down near midfield. Now Stark will again be forced to kick. Gets off a high floating kick. Flynn under it at his own 17. Looks for the wall, finds one, up the middle, 30, 35, 40. He may go all the way. 40. 20. He's in for a touchdown. Tom Flynn, an 83-yard touchdown run on the punt return.
No flags. No flags. It's a touchdown. We talked about it, Stan, since we opened the broadcast here, but we also talked about before the game that it is possible for a guy to out-kick the coverage, and that's exactly what happened. That ball was so high that this coverage, you can't see it on camera there, but they're already by him. The ball was up there so long, the guys ran right by Flynn. He didn't have anybody to get him. This is the last man to get him right here. And Flynn, after running, about 80 yards, still has enough to give a little spurt right there on the sideline and get in for the touchdown. And Florida State is in big trouble, and Pitt is looking good.
Everett to attempt the extra point. He's 2 for 2 on the afternoon, 16 out of 17 on the year. And one more. 83-yard punt return by Tom Flynn, and Pitt now goes up 21-0. And I think the key to the punt return, John, Flynn made a move to the outside, then cut back up the middle, and it was all over. So, 6 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the half. Pitt now up 21-0. Tom Flynn's 83-yard punt return has given Pitt a 21-0 lead. And of course, I point out that John Steigerwald feels that Julius Dawkins should be back there returning punts.
That's what I said. It's a good thing that he has Tom Flynn back there, because he's the best punt returner they have. That's the point I was trying to make.
Schubert to Allen at the 3. He's going nowhere. He's hit and dropped at the 16-yard line. And if you believe in momentum, it's all on Pitt's side right now.
But seriously, folks, getting back to Flynn and Dawkins, Flynn is the better punt receiver. He's not a better runner, despite what you just saw. Dawkins has better moves and is actually a better punt returner. But you can see Jackie Sherrill's thinking here. And when you have a guy like Stark, whose hang time is sometime between 2 weeks and a month, then you got to have a guy back there that you have confidence in that can catch the ball, because that's the first thing you have to do. And then if the coverage runs by you, then you can go with it. That's what Flynn did.
Well, Florida State starts out in the hole. Give inside, going absolutely nowhere as the Pitt defense now really turned it on. Stopped Ricky Williams for no gain at best. Second down and 10. Al Wenglikowski in on the tackle for Pitt in place of Chris Dolman. Really, you couldn't fault Florida State's punt coverage because the first wave was down there, but once Flynn got past there was no one to be found.
There's a thing that a punt coverage team has to do, too, and that is to make sure they don't do that. It's one thing to hustle down there, but running by the guys doing anybody any good.
Got to be under control. Again, we give to Whiting on kind of the Statue of Liberty. He's out to the 17-yard line, gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 8 yards to go for Florida State. And look at Tom Flynn, John, making both ends of that play, because on the 3rd down play, he hit the receiver, made him cough up the ball, which forced Florida State to punt in the first place.
Speaking of Flynn, I think he was in on this play here, too. This is the Statue of Liberty to the other side. They've tried it to the right a couple of times, this time left. And no, Flynn is coming up, but the tackle was not made by Flynn.
Pat McQuaid
in the game.
Number 14 made the initial hit, slowed him down. And if Florida State is not able to pick up a first down here, they will once again punt from deep in their own territory. 3rd down, 8 yards to go. Stockstill straight back. He may scramble. He's got a lot of room. Nope. Now he heads upfield and makes a very poor decision and hesitating. Falls 5 yards shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 5 yards to go.
I think what happened, Stan, was that he still had thoughts of throwing the ball on the run, but he looked and saw that he either was over scrimmage or thought it was too close, and he wasn't sure, so he figured he better keep the ball instead of risking a penalty.
Well, Chris Dolman and the Pitt defense having a good time. So is most of the 54,000 here.
Keep in mind, too, Stan, this is supposed to be a rebuilding year for Pitt, and they're working on 5-0.
Stark's leg should be limbered up. There he goes. It's off a high kick. Going to hit the 30 and roll out of bounds at the 27-yard line. So no return possible there. Perhaps Ron Stark does not want to give Tom Flynn the football anymore. Pitt will take the ball over at their own 27-yard line. 6:30 to play in the first half. Pitt on top, 21-0 in what was supposed to be a very competitive football.
Yeah, and when we were down in the press box before the game, I was talking to Bob Smizek, who's a writer for the Pittsburgh Press and follows Pitt. He said he was really looking forward to this game because there have been so many games here where Pitt has just blown out lesser opponents, and he was really looking forward to a good competitive game. And I said, yeah, so am I. And this is as much of a blowout as we've seen here.
Pitch wide to McCall. The 30 out to the 35-yard line. That's Brian Thomas. My mistake. Brian Thomas again back in at tailback. It'll be a gain of 8 yards and 2nd down and 2. Jackie Sherrill looking for his 5th win of the year against no defeats. They are ranked 3rd in the country. Kind of wonder here, John, if Pitt will go for the kill. Get up 28-0 at half, and then it's lights out.
It's all over.
DiBartola and Thomas behind Marino, 2nd and 2. Again, Thomas with a big hole. He's out to the 40-yard line. Nice move by Brian Thomas across the line of scrimmage, giving Pitt a first down at their own 40.
Brian Thomas really didn't come into the starting position at tailback until last week against West Virginia. I think that's when he clinched the spot. And the way he's running today, it's going to be tough for anybody to take it away from him.
Thomas,
8 carries.
57 yards.
Ain't a bad average, 7 yards.
He had 97 last week. DiBartola, 103. Here's the give inside on the counter. Again to Thomas, and this time Florida State is waiting for it. Nose guard James Gilbert made the initial hit on the play. No gain, 2nd down and 10. Gilbert had very large shoes to fill. Of course, Ron Simmons, the All-American nose guard for Florida State, graduated last year. Gilbert stepped in. They like their nose guards short and kind of stumpy, a la Curly Culp. Gilbert is 6 feet tall, 260 pounds. Guys that short and that strong, it's very difficult to get leverage. And a very good matchup with Emil Bores, who is the center and an All-American candidate. Slot to the left, 2nd down and 10. Marino fires over the middle and is almost intercepted. Wasn't caught. Intercepted by Florida State. And an excellent play made by right defensive end John McLean. Like Pitt, their defensive ends fall back in pass coverage, and McLean stepped in front of the receiver and made the interception.
If Danny Marino has one problem, and I think a lot of strong-arm quarterbacks have it, it's thinking as your arm is a little bit stronger than it is, and you try to force it every once in a while. And he may have tried to force that one. It was intercepted. He held on to the ball.
Florida State perhaps getting the break they need. They've got field position. The ball directly at midfield. 2 interceptions against Marino. First down and 10, Florida State. Stockstill stumbles out of the pocket. He's firing deep over the middle. Man open. It is caught down at the 12-yard line. A marvelous catch made by Tony Jackson. And a 38-yard pass completion. Stockstill to Tony Jackson.
Here it is again. You watch Tom Flynn coming across the free safety. He misjudges the ball and hung up there, but he jumps a little bit too early and didn't get it. And a good pass by Stockstill. Blair Williams also is now in is he in the quarterback on that play? Is that Williams that threw that ball?
Yes, he is. Blair Williams, a junior, had thrown 8 passes this year. Pitch wide to Williams. Looks for a hole. Does not find one. Hit at the line of scrimmage and perhaps gets a yard near the 11-yard line. And again, Pitt has successfully, with a defensive adjustment, cut off the Florida State pitch, which ran well early in the game.
It's a pitch to Ricky Williams. They've tried this a lot, and they really haven't had much success with a wide pitch today, and there's why. About 4 Pitt defensive players around the ball.
Good play by middle guard J.C. Pelusi, who strung the play out. That's an important play now with 2nd down and slightly less than 10 yards to go. Ball at the Pitt 12-yard line, and Florida State needs a score. And there you see Rick Stockstill, who has had his problems in this football game, being replaced. And that's rather early to go. And a replacement with a 50-year senior who has been with you for so long, as Stockstill has been with Bowden.
And I'm not so sure that I can see where it's Stockstill's fault, unless it's play selection that probably Bowden didn't like, because the Pitt defense has just been everywhere.
2nd down and 10. Williams. He looks, he throws in the end zone, man open, incomplete. And a good defensive play by Tom Flynn. And we may have interference, and we are. Flag down in the end zone, and that's going to give Florida State a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The pass was intended for tight end Sam Childers, and they may get him for face guarding.
Let's see what they do. He does put his hands up with his back to the ball. If there is, well, yeah, that's interference. No question about it. And that's about all Flynn could do. It's actually a smart play. He saw that it was either a touchdown or interference. He went for the interference. Now, Florida State's got 1st and goal at the 1, but that's still, as far as Pitt's concerned, better than a touchdown.
Flynn comes out of the game as Pitt goes with a goal line defense. 1st down and goal at the 1-yard line with the 11-yard penalty on pass interference. Everybody in tight. Give inside to Whiting. Touchdown, Florida State. Michael Whiting, 1-yard touchdown run over left guard, and Florida State gets on the board for the first time with a score.
Well, there's a big play on a penalty for Florida State at the 1st down at the goal line, and taking it on one play. Good blocking up front. Whiting just goes straight up. No fooling around this time. And they get the yard this time that they couldn't get on their first time down that close in Pitt territory. And now it's 21-6.
Nothing fancy. Straight dive. Rendina, 9 out of 11 on extra points. Kicks. And it is good. So Florida State is on the board late in the first half. 3 minutes and 47 seconds left to play. Pitt now on top by a count of 21-7. Tim Lewis returns the kickoff out to the Pitt 22-yard line, where the Panthers will take over 1st down and 10.
Well, it's the first time in a while that the offense has had a little bit of pressure on to move the ball. It was 21-0. They felt like they could have a good time out there. Now, this is a big series for the Florida State defense, and if the Pitt offense can't move it, Florida State get right back in it.
They give inside to Joe McCall. and he is hit at the 25, but makes a nice run. He gets it out to the 27 for a gain of 5. Second down and 5 yards to go. Pitt with a football. 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Ron Sams, right offensive guard, holding his left hand. Paul Dunn comes into the game to take his place coming out of the game. Now Julius Dawkins comes out, and Kevin Williams goes back in the game. Dawkins, I think, has a torn jersey, and it's illegal to play with those things, so he'll probably only be out for a play. Second down, 5 yards to go. Pitt just inside their own 28-yard line. Bobby Bowden hoping his football team is back in the game. Reno swinging on the flat to DiBartolo to the 30, 35, hit, fumbles the football and rolls out of bounds back at the 32-yard line. Harvey Clayton made the hit and really popped the ball loose. A break for Pitt.
DiBartolo was wide open on this swing pass, too. Don't know why, but he stayed in and then released. Reno was going there the whole time, just dumped it out to him. We'll see how they forced the fumble. Just a helmet right in on the ball. Good play there by Clayton. Knock it loose, but Pitt gets a break, goes out of bounds. But they did. I think he had the first down if he doesn't lose the ball. I think he lost a couple of yards on the fumble. He might have had the first down if they have it anyway.
I think he definitely had it. Now they're going to have to measure from where the fumble went out of bounds as to whether they do it or not. They'll either be first and 10 or third down in very short yardage. Once again, a break for Pitt as the ball went out of bounds. Stretching the chains. First down, Pitt.
By the ball. Leaving the ball.
If that ball stays in bounds, Florida State people all around it, and that would have given Florida State excellent position near the Pitt 30-yard line. As it is, Pitt retains possession with a first down at their own 32-yard line. 3:07 to play, first half. Pitt leads 21-7. Pitt leads in first downs 8-5. Collins left, Dawkins right, I backfield, give to the tailback, out to the 34-yard line, near the 35, gain of about 3. Joe McCall, the tailback for Pitt, gain 3, make it second down and 7. Well, last week, when Pitt played West Virginia, Brian Thomas played just about the whole game. This week, Sherrill has gone back to alternating those tailbacks. And
one thing we haven't seen Dan Marino do yet, and we might be getting in a situation where he has to do it here. It's second and 7, but he's not gone to the shotgun yet, and Pitt will do that. He hasn't done it yet today.
Marino play fake, fires over the middle, and it is caught by John Brown, the tight end, to the 40 and out to the 44-yard line, and that'll be good for another Pitt first down. John Brown, junior tight end, with his first reception, his 12th of the year. Scott McLean dropped off in coverage to make the tackle, but it's a gain of 9 and a first down.
Play fake there, and the short stuff out on the flats is working. This time it's the tight end. And they're leaving that area wide open, and I'm sure Pitt's going to take it as long as they're giving it to him, especially in a situation with a big lead. It's a nice, safe play to use.
Well, McLean is 6'4" and 235, so pass coverage, even as a defensive end, obviously is not his forte. Slot left, give to McCall, up to the 45 and across the 45 to the 47. A gain of 3, make it second down and 7 once again as the clock rolls to 1:55.
Another thing Pitt is doing here is keeping the ball away from Florida State. We're down to 1:50 to go in the half. Pitt has the option in the second half of kicking or receiving. You would assume that they take the ball. So if they can hold on here, even if they don't score, it's very much what they want to do. And like the 21-7, I'm sure they'll take going into halftime.
Give to Brian Thomas across the 50 and into Florida State territory at the 49-yard line. That'll be shy of a first down by 3, make it third down and 3. James Harris, cornerback, came up to make the tackle. But a nice gain for Thomas. 4 yards, third down, 3. Clock stops at 1:30 to go. I'm sure Sherrill would like to get 3 on the board here, but again, as you mentioned, John, 21. If you'd have told him before the game started that he would be up 21-7 at the half, he'd have been more than happy with that.
He'd take it. I think he wants to see him do anything here that's going to give up the ball and give Florida State time to do anything.
Delayed draw, and they are not going to get the first down. Florida State read the defense. Wayne DiBartolo stopped at the line of scrimmage, no gain. Well, you got to wonder here, Florida State should use a timeout. The clock runs. Dave Heffler will be back trying to put Florida State into a deep position. Here comes the punt. Cedric Jones takes at his 9, up the middle to the 10, near the 15, and Florida State will take over at their own 14-yard line, but with only 58 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, the offense did their job, although they didn't get any points. They did keep the ball long enough to run the clock down to less than a minute and give their punter a chance to kick the ball into the hole, and they did that. So Florida State starting out with poor field position here, and they've only got 58 seconds, and when they're down 14, what are they going to do now? They don't want to give up another turnover deep in their own territory. Do you run it out, or when you're down 14, do you figure we got to use these 58 seconds to try to get at least 3 out of it?
Well, he's got a field goal kicker that has kicked a 52-yarder, so let's see what he does. Blair Williams, here's a reverse. Cedric Jones, halfback pass, a man wide open at the 50-yard line. It is caught, and he falls down. Phil Williams catches the football at the Pitt 48, but had he not fallen down, that might have been a touchdown.
They still have a lot of time here, 50 seconds, and they're inside Pitt territory at the 48. One assistant coach there on the sideline just in front of where he fell down. It looked like he was going to die when he saw him do it. He couldn't believe it.
Now, he must have been screaming at Williams because Williams got up on his knees and said, "What are you yelling at me for?"
We just gained 40 yards. What do you want?
Well, the pass is good for 38 yards, not as much as it could have been. Florida State, here comes a blitz. Williams is hit. He fumbles and Pitt recovers. Tom Flynn recovers. Sal Sunseri shot the gap. Blair Williams never had a chance. End of scoring opportunity.
That has to tell you something about the count. They must have been reading the cadence so well, because either that or he just made a big gamble, because he just took off and he had no intention of stopping. He took off from 5 yards off the line of scrimmage and went. Maybe Florida State have been telegraphing their cadence, and they picked it up because he just went right after it. Now Pitt's got a scoring opportunity.
That was an all-out blitz because, as you saw, Tom Flynn, the safety, recovered the fumble. Marino fires out in the flat. DiBartolo wide open. 35, 30, 25, 20, and knocked down at the 18-yard line. Clock will stop on the first down. 35 seconds to go. Harvey Clayton finally made the stop, but again, Marino taking advantage of the deep drop by cornerbacks and linebackers.
Play was wide open again. Now, in a pro situation like that, DiBartolo would have run out of bounds, or at least would have been expected to, but there he knew he already had the first down. This clock's going to stop anyway. May as well get a couple extra yards out of it. Now the clock starts.
Inside 30. Blitz on. Marino fires wide open. Brown at the 6-yard line. It'll be a first down for Pitt, and now he drops it incomplete.
Florida State might want to fumble on that one. Are they calling it first down now? Well, the official back there called it.
Now they're going to call it an incompletion. Brown had the football, was hit, and he dropped it.
Let's see how long he holds on to. It looked like a possession to me. I think that's a fumble. He looked like, to me, he ran 2 steps with it and then was hit and fumbled the ball. I think Pitt got a break on that one.
Harvey Clayton has played a pretty strong football game here at left corner. Made the tackle, then knocked the ball loose from Brown. So it is 2nd and 10 Pitt at the 18-yard line. 26 seconds to play in the first half. What a turnaround in the last 30 seconds. Again, a blitz on, fire over the middle. It is incomplete and almost intercepted at the 2-yard line. Pass intended for Dwight Collins. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play. Again, Clayton back there. He had help from Tracy Ashley, the strong safety. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
And you see Marino looking to the sidelines trying to get the signal. They use hand signals to send in plays. Sometimes they will send in a player, but he was looking over there to get the call from the bench. 22 seconds left.
3rd down, 10. Pitt at the Florida State 18. Pitt leads 21-7. Again a blitz, firing over the middle. It is incomplete. Almost intercepted. And that'll bring up 4th down and the Pitt field goal unit.
Dan Marino has thrown the ball some dangerous passes. 2 in a row right there. The one to Collins on the play before this he had to throw. It was that type of play. He just dropped back and let it rip and hope that the receiver gets there. But that one was a dangerous pass. He got a break on it. Snuffy Everett's going to try a field goal.
This will be a 35-yarder. Everett is 3 out of 6 on the season. Big angle to the left side. Everett is 3 out of 6 in the year. Kick is up. It's long enough.
It hit the upright and bounced back.
Well, Willie Mosconi will tell you about those. Those billiard shots can sometimes be tough. Hits the goal post and bounces back, and Everett, a freshman,
I don't think he's real happy about it.
No.
And who could blame him? Well, there's the angle coming into play here. That's what makes it tougher. He had distance, plenty of distance. Hits the upright, bounces the wrong way for Pitt and the right way for Florida State. And now Florida State has 12 seconds left and about, well, exactly 80 yards to go.
12 seconds to play. Florida State will fall on the football, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. An interesting half in regard that it moved back and forth, the ebb and flow of this game. The momentum changed hands several times, but Pitt leads at the end of 30 minutes of play. The end of the first half, the score, Pitt Panthers 21, the Seminoles of Florida State 7. Halftime, Pitt leads Florida State 21-7. Some interesting twists and turns in this game. After a Pitt fumble on a punt, Florida State had the ball 4th and a foot at the 1-yard line, did not make it, and then Pitt went on a 99-yard drive, helped John, by roughing the kicker penalty.
We talked a lot coming in here about the kicking game, and that's part of the kicking game is roughing the kicker. And the kicking game has been a big difference in the game. The return by Flynn is the one that really broke it open for Pitt. It's not over by any means yet, but it's gone back and forth quite a bit. I think the difference is that Pitt has taken advantage of it. When it's gone their way, they've capitalized on it where Florida State hasn't.
Well, after the 99-yard drive, 22-yard pass, DiBartolo was the touchdown, 7-0. Then Sal Sinceri, the linebacker, intercepted a Stockstill pass, returned it for a touchdown. Pitt on top, 14-0. And then the play that may have broken the game wide open, an 83-yard punt return by Tom Flynn off Ron Stark, perhaps the nation's best.
Yep, and Flynn was a quarterback in high school, so he's a good athlete, an all-state quarterback in high school. Stark is possibly the best punter in the history of the NCAA. He's up there if he's not the best. And this is called running past overrunning the coverage a little bit. You can see all those white jerseys go right by Flynn. He comes right up the middle with it, makes a nice cutback right there. And he shows a lot of speed here on the last man to get him, as he's already gone 60 yards here. The man had an angle on him, but he just gave it a little burst of speed there for the last 15, got it in for a touchdown, and he is the type of guy that you don't expect really to make that kind of a return. He's not a breakaway type player. He's a steady player, the guy you put back there because you think he's going to hold on to the ball. And so it's a little bonus for Jackie Sherrill, where the guy that he wanted back there mainly because it's so tough to field Stark's left-footed punts that are so high and so well kicked, he ends up running it back for a touchdown. And maybe the good kick actually backfired a little bit, and maybe that could be the difference in the game.
Pitt was most afraid of Florida State's punting game, kicking game, and yet it has worked to Pitt's advantage. Florida State got on the board after an interception, a 38-yard completion, pass interference, and a touchdown. That's where we are now. Pitt leading Florida State 21-7. We'll be back with the second half kickoff in a moment. Second half kickoff, Florida State kicking to Pitt with Rendina kicking along the sideline, coming down deep at the 10-yard line. Compton at the 15, out to the 20-yard line. Barry Compton, wide receiver, flanker spot, takes it out to the 20 where Pitt will take over. First down and 10 yards to go. Panthers lead the Seminoles 21-7. There again, you see a graphic of the first half statistics, and ironically, the difference in the football game thus far has been the rushing edge that Pitt has gotten in the total yardage, 158 to 197. Each team even had 3 turnovers, but as John Steigerwald was mentioning, Pitt has been able to take advantage better of those turnovers and opportunities than have the Florida State Seminoles. First down and 10 yards to go. Pitt at their own 20-yard line. Marino giving off to Wayne DiBartolo, the fullback, hit along the line of scrimmage. He'll get a yard out to the 21-yard line before they whistle it down. Second down, 9 yards to go. Gary Futch, Jarvis Corsi, and outside linebacker Ken Rowe screened that play out on what was an off-tackle play that DiBartolo took outside. Rushing-wise, Whiting and Williams for Florida State each was 17 yards. Brian Thomas, the leading rusher in the game, was 64 yards. DiBartolo has been held out to 9 yards and 5 carries, and he is Pitt's leading rusher. Second and 9 with Marino to throw. Over the middle, it is caught at the 35-yard line and good for a first down by Dwight Collins. Collins making his second reception of the football game, and it'll be first down and 10 Pitt. Again, you see that they're using DiBartolo as a safety valve. You saw him swing out, but this time Collins was wide open, hitting the seam between Ashley and Clayton. So first down, 10 yards to go for the Panthers. They're on 35-yard line. They lead 21-7, first possession of the second half. Marino throwing deep, man wide open. Dawkins got it. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Pittsburgh. Julius Dawkins with his 8th touchdown catch of the year. A 65-yard touchdown bomb. John, it's been there all day with both Dawkins and Collins. This time, Marino was on the money.
And I get the feeling that they've been watching Collins